Well, you made me it tasted really rusty. Well, inside were these brass pins, all of these dating from the late 1840s.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at the times Antiques Roadshow managed to make us laugh.
And I tell you what, I think we have to have a little play. Okay.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Chinese table.
It's more complete. To me, it's better quality.
There's no reaction like a non-reaction. In this clip, a member of the public brought on an old table. Rather than say he bought it at a charity shop for a pittance, as is often the case, he reveals that he bought it from America for a whopping $7 grand, and presumably then had to pay for it to be shipped across the Atlantic.
I might suggest to you that if we put it in a really good auction in somewhere like Hong Kong, for instance, in a very specialised Oriental sale, that a table like this could make £80,000 to £120,000.
He was then told that the table could fetch anywhere between £80,000 and £120,000 at auction, to which the owner had a two-word response.
That's nice. Yeah.
And what a spectacular backdrop.
Absolutely.
Viewers were quick to criticise him online for his apparent indifference to his valuable table, but anyone who's buying a table for $7 grand in the first place is probably rich already. Number 9. Great Aunt Fanny.
Well, we have some lovely amethyst and gold jewellery here.
In this X-rated roadshow moment, one guest came on with some unique jewellery and started dropping innuendos left, right and centre. This is about as filthy as Antiques Roadshow gets, so on balance not very filthy at all, since it's a Sunday afternoon programme.
Gorgeous. Have you got a lot of purple in your wardrobe?
Sadly not, no.
But the viewers at home thought it was a riot, as the necklace's owner talked about how it had originally belonged to her husband's great aunt.
Well, it was my husband's great Aunt Fanny who lived in Cockermouth.
As if the name wasn't lewd enough, she then said that her husband's ancestor came from one of the most euphemistic places in the UK. The amethyst jewellery was still gorgeous though, even if it did come from Cockermouth. Number 8. The infamous fake.
Well, the story in the family is that it came into the family with my grandfather's grandmother, who was the housekeeper at a big house in Staffordshire.
Sometimes people are given a disappointing valuation, like this woman, but to her credit, she took the disappointment well. This was the antique cabinet that turned out to be a fake, complete with a contrived backstory that had been passed down through the family. The story had been fooling the descendants for generations.
And I'm suspicious about this staining on the edge here. The stain is the same along the top as along the side of the dovetails. And I have a suspicion that someone has done that to give that the look of age and wear.
It was one of the most shocking moments ever on the show, as he was forced to reveal the fakery to the owners. But she was more amused than anything else.
I'm going to have to use a word I don't think I've ever used on a roadshow. I think it's a fake.
Oh!
After all that, it's still a functional cabinet, and now it's got a true story attached to it. The time she brought it onto Antiques Roadshow. At least she got some free dead spiders with her dodgy drawers.
No, we've always wanted to know the history of it and whether it was old or not, so, well, that settled it.
Number 7. Fire extinguisher.
So what on earth do you think this is?
Well, it was found in a shed. I think it's something agricultural.
This bizarre little object had been a mystery to its owners for years, so naturally they brought it onto the roadshow to find out what it actually is. The family hadn't a clue, but it turns out to be a very old-fashioned fire extinguisher that would be used by throwing it into a fire.
The fire breaks out, you grab the extinguisher, you lob it into the fire, and Bob becomes your uncle.
I shall keep it in the kitchen.
Keep it in the kitchen.
It's their disbelief over the item that makes this moment memorable, and it's certainly an unfamiliar sight, considering these types of extinguishers aren't used anymore for a very good reason.
The carbon tetrachloride is carcinogenic. We now know it's really ghastly, so in a way it's a bit of a toxic object.
It's actually 100 years old, dating back to the 1920s. It's lucky it was this though, and not something inappropriate, given its rather suggestive appearance.
I think it would probably sell with or without the mouse poo on it for about £100.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
Number 6. Worthless biscuit tin.
And by the 1920s, 1930s, you could buy trains, planes, you name it. A biscuit tin was made in that form.
The fake cabinet might have been an amusing story, but what about this biscuit tin? Well, while this was absolutely genuine, it turned out to be nowhere near as valuable as the owner wanted to believe.
And of course, many of these then were thrown away when they were empty. They were simply a novelty item. As a result, they're quite rare. Collectors are very keen to buy them.
It turns out that biscuit tins like this are very common, because it was part of a marketing stunt to convince people to buy biscuits. You may be surprised to learn that sweet confectionery biscuits are a relatively recent invention dating back to the 19th century, and these gimmicks help them to take off.
I think it's worth quite a bit more than that now. I think you did very well. How about £200? Do you think that sounds good?
Well, I have been told it was worth a bit more than that.
Have you?
Unfortunately, this particular tin, charming as it is, turned out to be worth far less than the owner thought. It's hard to feel too bad for laughing about her disappointment.
Have you?
Yes.
What were you told?
Well, about 1,000.
No.
No.
I think that's a bit... I would say that was too much.
Number 5. Mystery Octagon.
You might be pleased to know that I love it. Maybe not quite so pleased to know why.
While watching Antiques Roadshow, you'll often be amazed at the depth of knowledge the experts have about artists, manufacturers, and the history of seemingly random items. But what if someone doesn't know what they've just been handed?
And it's beautifully made. All these numbers, it's octagonal with all the numbers running down each face of the octagon, the cross.
That's what happened here. When one couple managed to bring on something so baffling, nobody knew what it was meant to be. He knows it's Indian because of the writing, but he can't tell us anything else.
There's all sorts of intriguing little clues. There's these holes here, rather like pinholes, and
Is it a musical instrument? An ornament? Some kind of tool? We just don't know. Tell us if you know what it is in the comments. Number 4. The Marine Cabinet.
So the steward would fill the copper reservoir with water. You'd keep in this department your toothbrushes and your flannels and your washing accoutrements.
Much like the biscuit tin, this bloke bought an old cabinet from an ocean liner, thinking that one day it would be worth a pretty penny. The cabinet, which contains a sink, was used on ships to give people various amenities in small cabins that didn't require plumbing.
And where did you get it from?
Went to an auction, you understand?
Yeah.
And this it was sort of antiques at this auction.
Yes.
And that's why it was so expensive.
It's certainly interesting, and is the kind of thing ships don't have anymore, and the owner was absolutely convinced it was going to increase in value. He paid 50 quid for it in the 50s, and was then informed that it was now worth £300, which is actually less than the £52 would be worth due to inflation. No wonder he was so miffed.
That's all?
Yeah, that's all.
My goodness. After all those years, and keeping anything myself for 50 years.
I know.
Number 3. Jonathan Ross's toy collection.
Me cool old man.
Did you know that Jonathan Ross is a hobbyist toy collector? Fiona Bruce visited his house for this special toy edition of the Roadshow to see some of his oldest, rarest collectibles.
I like to set them up in a diorama kind of thing, sometimes, and take a photograph of it and show it to the other, essentially middle-aged men. Really, that's what this is.
His house is full to bursting with toys most people might not have even heard of. And obviously, she asks him to explain himself.
Is this healthy, do you think?
Obviously not. No, I'm aware that this is not healthy.
He goes into detail about many of the toys he has, cracking jokes as you'd expect from a seasoned comedian and TV presenter, while Fiona is baffled all the while. It's clear she has no idea that Japan had a completely different space-age version of Action Man, and she probably didn't have any major Matt Mason toys either, much as Ross loves them.
That I'm really proud of. These are called Henshin Cyborg. Henshin means transforming cyborgs.
Number 2. Rubbish. This couple at Hampton Court Castle brought out a curious old cabinet that they'd inherited, only to be asked by antiques dealer Lennox what they keep in it.
And what do you keep in this?
Rubbish.
Rubbish. Bits and pieces. Well, that's honesty.
He and the rest of us were surprised by their honest answer. It's just full of refuse and knickknacks. But they did clean it out before they brought it on television.
The drawers out. But the whole thing, when you look at the facade, is really faux. Do you know what I mean by that?
False.
Because when you look at this, is actually imitating gold. It's actually copper.
Things also get a bit more awkward when he revealed that a lot of the cabinet is fake, covered in detail that mimics more expensive material. Even the base isn't genuine. Despite all that, he still tells them it's worth about $5,000. Who says there's no money in fakes?
And I would put a value on this between 4,000 to 5,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a very collectible item.
Number 1. Witch's Bottle.
Now, you thought it might be port or wine. That would have been nice.
Oh dear. In this memorable scene, a mysterious old bottle was brought onto the roadshow, presumably containing some vintage port or wine, perhaps dating back hundreds of years. The owner tasted it, but still couldn't figure out what it was.
In the liquid, urine,
yummy.
a tiny bit,
Such good news.
a tiny bit of alcohol, and 1 human hair. And a mysterious little creature called an ostracod.
Well, Fiona had the unpleasant job of informing him that it was actually centuries-old urine. It turns out that it was an object designed to ward off witches and misfortune, though it clearly didn't work since drinking a bottle of Victorian wee is definitely unfortunate.
So what this was not a bottle of port or wine, but a witch's bottle. So buried in the threshold of the house as a talisman against witchcraft.
The lesson is clear. Don't drink strange old liquid that you find lying around in antique bottles.
Well, you know, years later, people were stopping me in the street saying, "You okay?" I said, "Why are you asking?" And they said, "Because you drank that filthy stuff on the show."
Let us know your favourite funny antique moments in the comments.
I'd like you to meet Bimbo, and I inherited him from my father.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.